All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a question I hear all the time. How do you actually buy Polkadot for the very first time? If you've been curious about DOT but just didn't know where to even start, well, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
So, this is the big question, isn't it? You've heard the name Polkadot. Maybe you're interested in the tech behind it, or maybe you're just looking to dip your toes into digital assets for the first time. Whatever your reason, figuring out the how, well, that's the first hurdle for everybody.
And yeah, this is where things can get a little confusing. You start hearing all these terms thrown around: exchanges, wallets, KYC, and it feels like you have to learn a whole new language. But don't you worry, we're going to cut right through all that noise and give you a super simple, step-by-step map to follow. We're calling this the Polkadot Quest because, honestly, it's kind of like an adventure. And every good adventure needs a map, right? So in the next few minutes, we're going to give you that map and turn what seems like a complicated process into a few clear, totally manageable steps. First stop, figuring out where to even go. Okay, so the very first choice you've got to make on this quest is picking your marketplace. This is basically the digital storefront where you're going to buy Polkadot, or DOT, as you'll see it listed. And just like in the real world, these storefronts come in a couple of very different flavors, so it's really important to know which one is right for you. So, your two main options are centralized and decentralized exchanges. The easiest way to think about it is like this. A centralized exchange, or CX, is kind of like your typical online store. Think Amazon. It's built to be super user-friendly, and the company holds onto your stuff for you. That's what custodial means. A decentralized exchange, or DEX, on the other hand, is more like a direct peer-to-peer marketplace. It gives you complete and total control, that's self-custody, but, it definitely has a steeper learning curve.
And you've probably heard some of these names before. For the centralized, super beginner-friendly options, you've got platforms like Coinbase or Kraken. On the more advanced, decentralized side of things, there are names like Uniswap. Now, for pretty much everyone just starting out, a centralized exchange is going to be the most straightforward place to begin, hands down.
So, you've picked your marketplace. What's next? Well, the good news is that the actual buying process is pretty much the same no matter which platform you end up on. We can actually boil the whole thing down to a universal 4-step guide.
And honestly, it's probably simpler than you think. First, you create an account, just like any other website. Second, you'll have to verify who you are, and we'll touch on that in just a second. Third, you connect a payment method, like your bank account or a debit card, to put some money in. And finally, the fun part, you actually hit the button and buy your Polkadot. 4 steps. That's it.
Okay, so you might have seen that KYC step and wondered, what on earth is that? It just stands for Know Your Customer. It's a standard identity check. You'll probably have to upload a picture of your driver's license or something. It's the same kind of thing you do to open a new bank account, and it's all just to keep things secure and prevent fraud. No big deal.
But wait, your quest is not over the second you click buy. In fact, one of the most important steps happens after you've made the purchase. See, in the world of crypto, you are your own bank. That means security is your responsibility. So let's talk about how to keep your new coins safe.
To keep your assets safe, you need what's called a wallet. Just think of it like your own personal digital vault. There are two main kinds. Hot wallets are basically software or apps that are always connected to the internet. They're super convenient for easy access. Then you have cold wallets, which are little physical devices that stay completely offline. These are the gold standard for long-term Fort Knox-level security.
And look, no matter which wallet you use, there are a few security rules that are just non-negotiable. First, use a long, strong, unique password. Do not reuse a password from somewhere else. Second, always enable two-factor authentication, or 2FA. It's like having a second lock on your front door. And finally, be so careful about phishing scams. Those fake emails and texts trying to trick you. Always check and double-check before you click on anything.
Phew! All right, I know that was a lot of ground to cover in a short time, so let's just do a quick recap of the entire quest to make sure all the important bits really stick with you.
So here it is, your final checklist. It all boils down to 3 main stages. First, choose your marketplace. And remember, a centralized exchange is the easiest place to start. Second, follow those 4 steps to buy. Create, verify, fund, and then buy. And third, and this is arguably the most important step of all, move your new Polkadot into a secure wallet and lock it down with good security habits.
And there you have it, a complete map for acquiring your first Polkadot,
We've totally covered the how, but that leaves one last really important question for you to think about. What's your why? What do you want to learn or achieve on this journey? Something to chew on as you get started. Thanks for tuning in.